Hey everyone, Waddler-D. We're back for more Kirby's Dream Land 2 Deluxe for the Nintendo Game Boy Color. Yes, KK0 has convinced me that this game is a Game Boy Color game. And this is post-commentary, because I have a lot to talk about and not enough time. So let's discuss how to get the actual good ending, since we screwed up miserably, mainly myself, and got the worst ending in the game. So let's start with getting that 95% to 100, and it all begins with steps. Step 1. Get Kine. Step 2. Get Spark. Step 3. Go to 7-7. And honestly, you don't need Kine or Spark to do this part, but of course you have to deal with the fact that this room sucks for Kine, and if you hit those spikes while you're climbing this, goodbye Spark ability. So this is basically what you need to do. You've already seen it, you already understand, but we just need to address the elephant in this room, which is the background. And the background is hiding a very important password. It's basically fire, stone, needle, ice, and cutter. Kind of funny that ice gets freaking dropped from the existence of actually needing it. And the reason why I'm dropping my ability before I jump up into this mess is because of the possible situation where if you jump up here and like drop your ability and end up sucking up that ability that you dropped and along with the one that you're trying to get, you'll run into this devastating situation where you need to redo the entire level again because you're going to suck up the ability that you're dropping. And if it's in the middle rows, you are doomed. You won't be able to do anything about it. That's kind of annoying, but just letting you all know in advance just to watch out for that. And you are not going to ruin me, frickin' Sir Kibbled. That guy is always giving me trouble, but once you get to this very spot and realize that each time you get the correct choice, you start getting more and more stars, and of course that's going to reward you with a nice 1-up. But there's another thing to consider while you're doing this thing. You're also skipping the unnecessary sections, such as the ones where if you just skip it and you have to deal with the Gauntlet of BS. And then once you do all of the puzzle or the password, boom, you get your rainbow drop, and you also get a 1-up for free. Kine, it's been a pleasure, man, but we're gonna have to wave goodbye. I mean, sure, we could take you into the water, but it won't matter. So the reason why I haven't been using abilities against bosses is because of one thing. They're kinda awkward and they do crap damage, but I wanted to show off how the fight would go with all the abilities that Kirby can bring with him. So let's begin with Cutter. So, with Cutter, the problem here is the damage. It just does so little damage that you're going to take about 60 hits to kill King Dedede with it. Granted, you'll be at a very safe distance, and it is incredibly practical, because, I mean, it's freaking range projectile against bird that needs to get up close and hammer your face in. Kind of a winning strategy. It's just a very slow winning strategy. So I would recommend if you're going to use an ability, you can use Cutter, but just be prepared to be bored to death because, man, it just takes 5 hours to kill him with it. But it's definitely one of the best choices for this fight. Come on, Dedede. Just end it, alright, bud? Let's get to the next ability. So Paracel kinda does more damage, but the range is kinda and the practicality of this is very because every time you fly up in the air, you have this slow floating situation, which Dedede will gladly take advantage of by jumping into you in some way or another. And just having to get up close in his face, especially when he's pissed off like he is right now, and thinking, oh, this will protect me. Nope, it will not. So definitely try to fight this boss as if you were kind of like trying to take it easy when you can, because as soon as he's pissed off, you just need to give him some space. Like, you just need to give Dedede a chance to cool off, so he can then show off your cool umbrella in his face again. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be happy about it, just like you won't be happy with this ability's performance for the most part. Ice, on the other hand, I was kind of surprised at how this ability kind of sucked. because, sure, you have a chance to do 1 unit of damage by the ice block, but the problem is that you have to deal with the invincibility frames that ice does when you hit him, and ice takes about 60 ice breaths to kill King Dedede. So the variance kind of puts it around 36-ish kind of hits, but the practicality of using ice is kind of annoying. Like, I had so much trouble doing consistently good damage because of the whole invincibility frames, not to mention getting things mixed up and losing my ability. So Spark is actually really lame against King Dedede, because you can pretty much have to be in his face, which is a bad sign right there, like have to deal with Inhale at any random time, and the damage is kind of bad. Like, the fact that you are going to do the same amount of damage as a Paracel kind of ruins the whole point of using Spark at all, especially for bosses. Spark is just, but it's not the worst. There's actually something that's much worse.
It's a stone, Luigi!
Yeah, stone sucks, because you have to do this to do damage to King Dedede and not take damage yourself, because you can actually not stay as a stone permanently in this game. Like, there'll eventually be a point where you'll lose your stone and you'll take damage. And that's the reason why this is the worst ability for bosses. And Dedede especially. Like, the fact that you have to basically put yourself at, like, a stone's throw away from getting inhaled. Well, this could have very much happened. Frickin' dead. Now, Needle. I've been trashing this ability for the entire game, and then it does this. Like, you can do this much damage with Needle against King Dedede, and it's kind of impressive. So if you ever have a boss that just sits in place, takes a lot of time doing nothing, well, you're going to be seeing Needle do some wondrous things, because every little shank that Kirby does with it does freaking crazy damage, but it's still not the best ability in the game for boss fights. This is Needle Kirby's only smug moment in life. Yes, Fireball is the best freaking ability against King Dedede, and probably against most boss fights, because look at this. Damage, speed, and invincibility frames. If your freaking attack has invincibility frames that are reliable, you're pretty much in the gold at this point, and King Dedede cannot do a damn thing. And in some respects, can't do a damn thing when he's inhaling. Granted, you don't want to charge towards him when he's inhaling, but if you can do this to King Dedede on the far right with just an ability, that's impressive. So give some props for the speedrunners saying you should just be using Fireball for most of the game. Kirby knocked that man over. Good job. Dedede, we're gonna have to talk about your sleeping habits, man. You were sleep fighting, bud. Kirby's got some medicine for that. He's got all these rainbow drops all in his possession, risking life and limb for some of these things, to then put together something that possibly exorcise this dangerous demon. Kirby, that's not how you exercise things. You don't stab a man for it. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're drawing him out so you can then take this battle into space? Cool. So this is the final battle of Kirby's Dream Land 2 Deluxe against Dark Matter Blade. And Dark Matter Blade is not so much a fight against him to start, it's more of you understanding how this damn weapon works. Rainbow Sword is a very strange weapon, but let's talk about Dark Matter Blade's attacks. He uses pretty much 4 attacks. The Charge at You attack, the Energy Ball of Legend, and more importantly, laser beams, as well as just moving around the room very unpredictably and quickly. But as you can see, the Rainbow Sword has a problem with it. It's a sword that has some great range, but it also freezes you in place when you attack. So this kind of confirms one thing. Kirby sucks at melee, so don't use it here. Instead, what you should be doing is looking out for particular attacks that you can possibly do something against, because this is not a sword. This is actually a tennis racket, and a tennis racket should not be your face. And all you just have to do is remember these things, and this battle goes from, oh my god, I'm getting my ass kicked, to, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. And then you meet the second form, and this is where the game's like, did you learn what to do with your weapon? Unfortunately, Kirby's like, dude, I don't know what to do, shit. And this is what I'm talking about. You want to make sure to know exactly what you're doing with the rainbow. So, well, that's not how you end that fight. So let's show off how you can optimize your rainbow sword usage against this guy, because this guy can be kind of scary when you're first fighting him. But what you can do is you can still kind of hit him with your sword, but the attack you need to look out for is this one. And if you hit him in such a way where you're directly in front of him and you hit that energy ball, because it splits into 3 when you reflect it, it does an extraordinary amount of damage. I mean, you saw that. We've already done 6 units of damage from 2 attacks of his. That's astounding, especially for a late game boss. And he's dead. And now let's talk about the big dog, Dark Matter. And Dark Matter is honestly a scary fight when you're first going up against him. Because of one thing, knowing what to do against him, you will pretty much be a bit panicked, especially if you're at low health. But he has attacks that you can understand pretty quickly here. Like, for example, that attack, you want to be up and at a corner so you don't get hit by the spray. And then he has this particular charge attack where you have to read where he's going to come back. And it's pretty much going to be like the charge attack that you saw from Dark Matter Blade, where he's going to either fly upward to hit you or downward to hit you, depending on your position. But this attack right here, the worst attack in the game, because it just comes out so damn quickly, and you just have to know where you need to be. Otherwise, you're going to get hit, and it sucks, because it's just so damn fast. But as you can see, you can use these orbs to reflect back at him, but I've chosen to challenge myself, because this fight can be incredible. Okay, as soon as I get killed, saying that it can be incredibly easy, but this fight can be incredibly easy if you know one trick. If you can get behind him, right here, you can hit those 2 orbs in his backside, do 4 units of damage, and you can do that again on the opposite side. And here's the better thing, you could finish that fight right then and there if you hit 3 of those 4 orbs right into him both times. Pretty incredible stuff, but kind of tricky. So I just recommend sticking with 2 and just try to finish him off doing what I'm doing right now. But this fight's just not that hard once you know what to do and how this boss moves. If you understand how freaking Dark Matter is all over the place, you can basically make this fight a bit of a joke. Like, this is definitely one of the harder final bosses, but it's only hard because you just don't know. And knowledge is pretty much most of the power here. But once you get to a point where the screen starts getting lighter and lighter in the background, you start maybe panicking a little bit more. But one nice thing about this fight is that when you get closer and closer to the earth, you won't have to worry about dying instantly, but you will have to worry about damage and how much health you have, because that's where things get a little scary, especially when you have like less than 3 or 2 units of health. So a ticker starts right now, and as you can see, boom, Kirby just starts taking damage. And if you don't finish this fight quickly enough, then we get reminded of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and how the animal players are like, dude, did he make it? Did he survive? I don't know, man. I can't see him. And then Kine's like, dude, guys, come on. This is Kirby. He does this all the time, man. And then King D's like, hell yeah, he does. And now we have to bid goodbye to Kirby's Dream Land 2 Deluxe. And I gotta say, KK0 has done a magnificent job making this game feel like it was meant to be on the Game Boy Color. And of course, all these developers behind this game and how they did not have Sakurai's golden guidance to get through this project. This is not the best Kirby game by any imagination, but it does what it does, and I appreciate all the developers taken the time to make a Kirby game that has a different feel than what I'm used to from Sakurai's guiding hands. But more to the point, this is a showcase of what Kirby is without that extra help or extra, you know, producer kind of input. And I gotta say, Kirby's Dream Land 2, pretty solid game. And did you know that if you beat the boss and you have not enough health to survive, you could end up having this happen. Yeah, a double KO, but not in your favor. Damn. But we're not done with this game just yet, because there's another thing we gotta talk about. Starts with the word 100%, and 100% gives you option. An option has 3 more options. And you can imagine what the first one's all about. You are not a valid Kirby game if you do not have a sound test after beating the game. Like, sure, you may have to get 100%, but geez, 47 songs for you to listen to? That's a big step up from the original. And of course, we got this really cool picture, just Kirby and friends just chilling after a long day working. And I love how Gooey seems to be the proprietor of this place and his girlfriend's the piano player. But in the Japanese version, that piano player would be that particular girl I mentioned. But now we're going to be talking about boss and bonus here pretty shortly. And that's going to be the final video. And with that final video, I'm just going to discuss how this game did a great job showing me that Kirby series is in good hands, regardless of Sakurai's involvement or not. So thanks for watching, have a great day, and adios.